So there's an article that was released today, more of a commentary, about a person working for Goldman Sachs, or should I say, used to be working for Goldman Sachs. And in his experience, he describes how basically the last 12 years at Goldman Sachs, it's been pretty good. And at the beginning, he really liked his job, and he was one of the select elite, one of the few from Stanford that was selected to go to many different places like London or Tokyo or whatever, big metropolitan cities like that, big shots would go to. And he actually believed that he was helping his clients, maximize profits. And, businesses have to make profits. So they have to make a commission off what they sell, and that makes sense. But in the last few years, he noticed that the culture was changing and that it was completely profit oriented, and where he was actually, or other people were rewarded for doing all the wrong things, selling bad mutual funds or bad stocks, but then they would get more profit, they themselves individually. So they were no longer trying to help the clients, they were just trying to help themselves. And he even mentioned that in certain times in internal emails, that they would actually call the clients' names, they would call them Muppets, and they didn't really respect them. They were just trying to get money from them. So I have to say kudos to this guy for saying that he's not going to stand up for corruption and that he's just going to leave. And now that this letter's going mainstream and that they're covering it, maybe there will be more news on Goldman Sachs and what they do. And I have to thank God every day and every night that Goldman Sachs is a private business and they never, ever get involved with the government, and they never go to government jobs, and they don't ever go to central banks or anything like that. Because if the corruption is that widespread in Goldman Sachs, and then they just leave Goldman Sachs, and then they were appointed to say, become, the governor of a bank of a certain country, or something along those lines, well, I think you know what would happen.